record. Hello. This is the update for day 2 of the Kent thing. We went to Canterbury. Oh yeah, and so watching me. And here we go. This is a picture of Canterbury. As you can see, it's a very medieval setup. And the main difference between Canterbury and the place we are staying at, Sherborne, is how Canterbury's more pure medieval, and Sherborne's a mix between Roman and medieval stuff alike. Because there's more women. Because, for example, Canterbury, there's more Norman and medieval compared to Sherborne, where it's more Roman and medieval.
Right. The roads.
Yeah.
It's the roads.
You can say.
Well, explain the roads. You just said the same sentence twice. Right. It's because of the roads. In Sherborne, you have the lower part of town and you have the upper part of town. And the upper part of town is medieval and wiggly and small roads. And you go down to near where Sherborne Abbey is, which we haven't had pictures of yet, have we? Well, that'll happen. And that was built exactly the same time as Canterbury Cathedral. So it's built in the same design, etc., etc. And in Canterbury, they've got wiggly roads, medieval roads, and in Sherborne, they've got the Roman roads still. They're all straight, a straight grid. Yeah. They're all on a straight grid. So there's a distinct difference between the Roman part in Sherborne and the medieval part. Canterbury is dead medieval. Now, is that picture on now? Is that the one I'm talking about? Yeah. As you can see from the buildings, they are original buildings, and they go onto the water because they didn't have cars. That's how they used to transport goods and wool and everything, I guess. Coal, I don't know, everything. Right, next one. Are we doing the cathedral? I think, yeah, do the cathedral. He's coming. That's the cloisters of the cathedral. Oh, wait a minute. All right, he's got it. The cloisters of the cloisters of the cathedral. Now, the cathedral, I'm going to read out of the book. It's much easier. I actually do know. I do know this shit, but I'm going to read out of the book. Cathedral. Pope Gregory sent over a fellow called Augustine to England in 59 AD, long time ago, 597 AD. Augustine was also in Sherborne as well, interestingly enough. So Sherborne was the main area of Wessex, the biggest church of Wessex, the whole area of the southwest, and Canterbury was the church of the whole area of southeast. Anyway, there we are. So he set up a monastery, this Italian guy set up a monastery, and they started building the cathedral. And it's exactly the same age as Sherborne Abbey. It's exactly the same design. It was, I'm afraid to say, it wasn't hugely revolutionary for us. It's bigger, not much bigger, but it's bigger than Sherborne. And that was, as the picture in front of you, as you can see all the saints hanging off the wall there. And it's really to impress. And of course, this was before people could read as well. So they'd look at the saints and go, oh, that's so-and-so, and learn it off by heart. And that's to divide the riffraff from from the high church, the high people, because this place, as I'm about to tell you, became the head of the Catholic Church at that time is Catholic, obviously. The head of the church in England. So very important. It only became Protestant when Henry VIII actually starts sacking all the Catholic churches. As you can see, the vaulted ceilings there, again, very similar to Sherborne, not quite as high Sherborne, but really, really similar. We got more pillars as well in Sherborne, which is quite impressive, and more flags. We've got flags everywhere, which is really cool. Anyway, that's okay. And as you can see, they've got chairs. Honestly, I'm a bit disappointed with that. Where are the beautiful pews? But anyway, in like carved wooden pews. Now he's distracting me. What was I going to say? Right. Why is Canterbury really important? Besides the fact it's the head of the English Protestant church right now, and it always was the head of the church in England. That's a chorister pews. That's where the boys sing. I'm going to say this. Brennan used to sing in Sherborne. He's going to be really angry at that. But there you are. He did. There you are. In 1117, this is why it's important. A fellow called Archbishop Thomas Becket was murdered there. All right. I don't think did you take a picture of where he was actually murdered? No. Okay. Or where he, well, yes, because it's on the side alleyway. There's the film. Watch the film Thomas Becket, and you from 1950 something. Bloody good though, or maybe 60s. Anyway, whatever. It's very good, very good. You see all the history. Now, the thing is, dear old Thomas was best mates with Henry II, right? Quite a lowly born person, but he did well in business, and he became best mates with Henry II, and he's a bit revolutionary and this, that, and the other. Henry II was having a problem with the Catholic Church because the Catholic Church was run by the Pope in Italy. So this isn't good. Or maybe France. Was it France then? Whoa. Check your facts. I don't know. It could have been France, Avignon, or I don't know. I didn't think about it, Brennan. Anyway, either or. So he's not happy with that because Henry II's not getting his way. So he's deciding that he's going to take control, and he's going to appoint Archbishop, and he appoints this fellow called Thomas, who isn't even a priest. Yay! Good idea, that one. So he had to become a priest overnight. No seminaries or anything like that, just overnight became a priest. And Henry thinks this is great because I now control Thomas Becket and I control the church. The problem was that Thomas Becket, when he became the Archbishop, the head of the English church, he actually sort of had a sea change and realized that maybe God was a little bit important, and he didn't let Henry II get away with stuff. Now, Henry then had a big falling out with his former best mate, Thomas. Massive falling out. And this is what he said, apparently. Henry II is said to have exclaimed, "Who will rid me of this turbulent priest?" His former best friend. At this point, 4 knights march off to Canterbury, probably from London, and they murder Thomas right in the cathedral. And that's why he was martyred. He was martyred within 3 years. Some people take 10 years, 50 years, 3 years he was martyred. And ever since then, so ever since 1170, whatever, people have been coming on pilgrimage to Canterbury from all over Europe and possibly all the world now, right? So big stuff, all big stuff. Now, oh, that was a brand new glass window. The problem with English glass windows is that a lot of them were bombed out during the war, and a lot of churches all over. Now there's millions of churches, millions in England, right? and the glass was bombed out. Now I've been to ones in all over Sydney, and they're untouched. They're in impeccable order. But you often get sort of blank ones in England, so you're really lucky. That's an old one, isn't it? Yes. No, that's a new one. That's a new one. And you do get old ones if you're lucky, and some of them have been repaired and stuff like that. But mostly it's too expensive. Those ones there, go back again. I reckon we're done. It looks like I couldn't find details for it.
I don't know what he did.
Was probably from the 1950s, I would say, and it's brilliant. It's bright orange and bright blue, absolutely fantastic, and would have cost I don't know how much. So that was I thought they were absolutely stunning. So you saw the eagle, and that is that's obviously an altar, and that's cross. That is a representation of the cross with Jesus. All right. My son should be very proud. I haven't mentioned Jesus yet. I'm not mentioning Jesus.
And don't you dare.
I'm not. There's all the chalices. I actually looked at those. I go back to chalices. Go back. On the ones on the right-hand side, they were from the 1400s or something like that, and the more modern ones were on the left-hand side, some from the 1970s, and it's brilliant. It shows the design has not changed ever, and the cassocks haven't changed ever. It's absolutely amazing. All right, next picture. Have we seen everything from the cathedral? I can't. I'm looking here.
Yes.
Okay. So then we went out and went for a little walk down to Canterbury. And we went to the Franciscan garden. And who's getting it? Sorry, I was silent. Shouldn't be silent. Should keep. So the Franciscan garden. Now it had been there since 900 and something. The Franciscans had arrived, and so they set up like a hospital, a free hospital. Remembering they had nothing like that at all. If you're sick, you're just sick and you died, right? And the Franciscans had a free hospital, and these are you putting pictures up yet? Have you done it yet? Okay, so all of these pictures are from the Franciscan gardens and the Franciscan hospital area. And so they've got the herbs and the plants that they are used for healing and eating, because remembering at that time they probably didn't have much good food to eat either. I mean, under serfdom, they were very poor. It was very beautiful. Franciscan buildings are often very peaceful. By nature, they're very peaceful because the Franciscans believe that you work half the day and then you pray for half the day. So they will do lots of work in the garden, and then they'll eat, and then they'll pray. So they are amazing places to go to, and very, very pretty. Gosh, it was pretty. And it looked onto the water. Have we done the water scene yet? Yeah, with all the tourists. The thing is, did you show a picture of that house? Did you have that house? That residential house? Can you find it? Not yet. There is a residential house, and they've got their garden furniture outside. And it looks, Grockles, there's Grockles. Grockles is tourists, except we are sort of tourists as well. That's okay. Well, we are so we are. Anyway, they look onto that waterway, lovely, but they also look onto all the tourists going through the Franciscan gardens, right? And the path of the tourists walking out past their garden with the garden furniture, and I felt so sorry for them. Oh my goodness. And then in wintertime, you see, great, you can use the garden, but you can't, it's freezing. And that's when, of course, the tourists aren't there. I just felt so sorry for them. Anyway, there you go. There you go. So on the opposite, there's a bridge there. So on the left-hand side is where these residential houses are. Oh, absolutely weird. But then I guess in Sherborne it's the same thing. I mean, everyone goes around and go, ooh, ah. And you sort of think, well, yeah, I live here. Go away. Maybe not. No, don't be so mean. Any more from the Franciscan before we move on? Just nature shots. Oh no, keep going. No, keep going, Brennan. All the flowers and everything. Yeah, all the herbs. And I actually did a course on herbal remedies, and a lot of the natural herbal remedies are used in modern medicine. They're a basis of modern medicine. So if anyone was to say it was a load of rubbish, actually it's not. They use the same herb root to do the modern stuff. But they I don't know. Actually, fun fact: where do they get them from? There we are. Someone find that out. No one's going to do that. No, don't bother finding out. But you know what I'm saying? To get that many natural herbs to go into pharmaceuticals, it's a lot, isn't it? It's very pretty there, wasn't it, Brennan? Gosh, it was pretty. Have you done the little chapel yet? Oh, okay. So at the bottom, there was the little Franciscan chapel. Now, if you have a look at that, put it on there, put it on, Brendan. Yeah, have a look at that. Franciscan chapels, dead simple, right? They are actually Catholic. Now, think of a normal Catholic church, and it's full of pomp and ceremony and this, that, and the other. Those guys are Catholic, as Pope Francis. Pope Francis is a Franciscan, right? But look at the simplicity of that, because they believe in simple life, honesty, literally eating bread and soup and scaling right back down to nothing. I believe that Pope Francis, when he first went to Rome, actually refused to use any of the cars that provided to them. He caught trains and buses. And he was still quite well known then. But then when he became Pope, he's really annoyed, because then he had to be taken everywhere. He didn't like that, because that's not Franciscan. And look at that beautiful, beautiful ceiling. Look at that woodwork. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. See, I'm looking at it and I'm speechless.
Right.
There you go.
That's basically all the essential pictures. There was other pictures, but they were basically repeats of other things, or too similar to other things. As was flowers. The flowers end up looking the same as each other eventually. But yeah, that was basically that day. We were planning on going to a third place, but it was closed. So that was unfortunate, but couldn't be avoided.
So we're going to.
We don't need to discuss openly what we're doing. The next place I would say next video. I don't know. Just leave it. I'm not gonna say it.
What?
I'm not gonna say it. I'm just gonna let it be as let people find out then.
Oh.
Because they won't know where they won't know where it is.
Sissinghurst, just say they may. So we go. So next time it's going to be on Sissinghurst.
Sissinghurst then. There you go. And with that, that's the end of this update.